There's another song here, Shunie, that I know tied into I know Mick Flavin talked about this, and I think I talked to you about this back in 2016 as well, Shunie. Was that song "Kick the Habit"? And
Yeah,
that was a very personal song for you, Shunie.
it was indeed. An alcohol problem way back at that stage, way back in the late 80s, whatever. And I was always like, I was always going to go off it tomorrow. I'm going to go off it and I'm going to give it up. And it really had got the better of me. And it was starting to, I wasn't, I was just barely functioning. And I had reached a stage where the wheels had ground to a stop that I wasn't going to be able to function anymore. So I had to bite the bullet. So I stopped drinking and I got a bit of help, in my own way. And I wrote the song called "Kick the Habit," which was part of my helping me. Um, and I know a lot of people have contacted me. I remember there was an AA crowd down in Galway, and they used it as their not theme tune, but their logo or whatever. And a lot of people will contact me and say about "Kick the Habit" and tell me their story.
Exactly.
But that's 35 years ago, and so
And how hard was it for you back then, Shunie, like to get the drinking under control when you think back to it? How
well, change is always very difficult. And anybody's life, even a simple thing, change is very difficult, and people are afraid of change for a start, but it's different with alcohol because uh, it's dangerous, and uh, if you don't get your act together, you're in real bother. You get a few chances, but you have to make your own chances, and you can't you can only be there for somebody, but you can't make them make that decision.
well, I know.
And they have to make it for themselves. They can't make it for their wife or for their children or for their dog. They have to make it for themselves. So it was difficult because it took about 10 years to finally make the decision. But once I really and truly made the decision, it was quite easy. I say that you only need willpower when your mind's not made up.
Yes.
Uh, when your mind's made up, you don't need willpower. You just do something. So that was one area I wrote
And
that song, "Kick
and
the Habit," and
yeah, and what was the turning point before we move on, Shunie? What was it? Can you remember? Was there any single turning point for you that made the decision in your head that was it? What alcohol?
well, there's three or four things that stand out in my mind. Um, I remember going to my doctor, and of course, there was always, it wasn't the drink, it was always something was wrong with me. But and at that time, our doctor was a young doctor, and I was sitting in I had a pocket full of money, like any good drinking man. It was all right. Whatever I had a heap of change and I had a heap of paper money rolled up on a ball in my
Yes.
pocket. And I was shaking, my hands were shaking, and the doctor told me I'm paying him what he needed, and I pulled out the money, and I was shaking, and the money was shaking. So he reached, he took the money out from me, and he put it down on his desk, and he straightened out whatever paper money was in it, and he flattened it out and made it, and he took whatever he wanted out of it, and he caught my hand, and he pushed the money down into my hand, and he looked me straight in the eye, and he says, "You're headed for bother," you know, and through all my bad times, that always stuck out in my mind.
The doctor.
Uh, the doctor, he just says you're headed for bother, and there was a couple of other things as well.
But yeah.
Uh, there was a very funny one that sticks out in my mind. I was leaving one morning about 5 o'clock, leaving after a wild faded drink. So it's the summertime, it's clear nearly, and I was going up the road and I could find myself starting to get sick. So I jumped out of the car and I threw my head in over a barbed wire fence, and there it was, poking my guts up. um, and when I cleared my eyes, the tears were under my eyes. I could see them. This thing looking, there was two donkeys standing in front, looking straight in my eyes.
Oh.
And they never moved. And to this day, I think they felt sorry for me. I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
do.
yeah. There's a story in that one too, Shunie.
I really do. You know, they were standing there and they never moved or budged. And I think they even feel sorry for me. You know,
There
but
was a bit of
no,
pity for them. Yeah,
there's a combination of things now
yeah.
that there's always someone that flicks a switch. You know,
Oh
if you're
yeah.
fortunate,
There's always
you know.
something.
Yeah.